Congressman Acop, on Wednesday, General De La Rosa went to Angeles and he berated in public and, well, made these policemen do push-ups. Yung mga police na sangkot dun sa yung seven Korean nationals. Is that what you mean by instilling discipline? And right after na pinagalitan niya, he turns to their commanders and berates them also.
I think that's the leadership style of General Ronald De La Rosa. But if you asked me, if I were in his shoes, I would not have done that. I would have called the NCOs and the officers to my office, and that would have been the place where I would have bawled them out sincerely.
Bawled them out sincerely. Of course, these are ball out. These are terms you learn in the academy as a cadet. Ball out, tapos sincerely. Ball out meaning pagalitan.
Yeah. You can say anything you want to say, provided it is done inside your office. And that preserve the dignity of the men and officers whom you would want to berate.
I'm going to ask you to respond to this after the break. What must General Ronald De La Rosa, the chief of the PNP, do now? Has the full support of President Duterte. He was plucked. Well, some people say it is a bit of deep selection sa nangyaring appointment sa kanya. He was plucked from Class 86 and brought up, made a 4-star general. Is that not a big, huge factor that could spell success for him and for the Philippine National Police? At the same time, when you talk about yung staff niya, people who work with and around and for him, is there enough of that support mechanism for him?
Let's start from the provision of law. The President can select the Chief PNP from any of the officers having 1-star rank and above. So General Ronald De La Rosa was, I think, Pulis Chief Superintendent when he was chosen by the President to become the Chief PNP. Let us consider dapat yung background ni General De La Rosa. So, naging member siya ng Presidential Anti-Organized Crime Task Force under then Senator Lacson, and according to Senator Lacson, wala naman problema si Chief PNP nung panahon na member siya ng PAOK Task Force. Second, dumaan naman siguro si Chief PNP sa pagiging commander. Now, what I do not know is whether naging National Support Unit Commander siya, naging staff ng region, naging regional commander, naging staff sa Camp Crame. So, kasi these placements on such position would give you the necessary background, knowledge and experience, and so far as command and administration are concerned, Pia. I think General De La Rosa must double time in learning all the aspects of the job of the Chief Philippine National Police.
We'll go more into the cleansing process that they're about to go into, but I wanted to ask you also, sir, about the possibility of the armed forces' involvement in anti-drug operations. If people complain now about police abuse in these anti-drug operations, yung Oplan Tokhang, will there be more or less of this abuse when the AFP is in the picture?
It would be lesser than what we are experiencing now with the Philippine National Police. The reason that I can think of is that within the armed forces of the Philippines, they have what we call military discipline, which we do not have insofar as the PNP is concerned, simply because it is a civilian in nature organization.
But precisely, sir, no? Kaya ginawang civilian in nature because the effort was to try to move away from the very military character, precisely because of the martial law participation, hindi po ba?
You know, times have changed, and maybe it's possible that there can be another major service command of the armed forces of the Philippines while maintaining the Philippine National Police as the National Police Force, civilian in character. Now, it's up for Congress whether the Philippine constabulary being thought of would be clothed with police authority.
Given that you were a general, you spent about 30 years of your life in the service, do you wonder what is happening to the organization?
The filing of a resolution to look into the seeming or apparent breakdown of discipline insofar as the Philippine National Police is concerned, looking at the recruitment process, the training process, actual performance, and the disciplinary mechanism of that organization.
When you talk, sir, about breakdown of discipline, earlier today we spoke on the phone about all these concerns, no? And you said that, and this was interesting, it reminded me of those days when Ping Lacson was chief PNP. At the time, you reminded me that there was this term that you used, ICU, inept, corrupt, undisciplined police force. Is that term applicable today?
Today, we have the same problem. The policemen are perceived to be inept, they're perceived to be corrupt, and they're perceived to be undisciplined. And maybe that's the reason why there's a low credibility rating insofar as the PNP organization is concerned.
What do you think went wrong? If yung ICU term had been used more than a decade ago, and then you say, it is back again, parang ganun pa rin, ano?
I think the commanders at some levels of the organization are not doing what they're supposed to do. I think the low-level commanders, for example, the chiefs of police of the different police stations, are not already serious in the two aspects of their functions. Number one, the mission accomplishment. Second, I said, the looking after the welfare of their men. Looking after the welfare of your men is seeing to it that they are disciplined and in order to accomplish the mission.
Okay, so when you say accomplish the mission of course being that, as President Duterte always says, and as Chief PNP Ronald Bato de la Rosa says, is to prosecute this war on drugs, to carry out this war on drugs, to get these drug lords. So in terms of accomplishing the mission, okay sila. However, we have a problem on the other function. Is that what you're saying, sir?
Yes. If you look at General De La Rosa, this is my personal opinion, by the way, Pia. When he came into the picture, he started running in the sense that the operational aspect of his function was his concentration. I think he did not take into consideration his other function, which is to look after the welfare of your men. Kasi these two functions are given commanders so that they are able to accomplish the mission. They should look after the welfare of your men. How can you accomplish your mission if your men are undisciplined? Instilling
discipline. How do you do that exactly?
It has to be done systematically, starting with whenever a commander sees one of his men doing something that is not right, he should correct him on the spot. And he should see to it that every error, mistake, or wrongdoing of his policemen are corrected immediately.
So we are talking here also, sir, it could be as simple as, apart from correcting mistakes, whether they are very minor or very grave mistakes, you have things like wearing complete uniform in public, for example, or basta leadership by example.
It has been my dictum, Pia, that I emphasize the term only, the only way to influence the behavior of people is through leadership by example. Only, I said only. Let's look at the Filipino driver in the streets of metropolitan Manila. We can see them as crazy as any driver in the world can be. But the moment that they enter the American camp or the TARP, Subic, they become disciplined drivers. Now, I study that and I see the differences in the environment. Outside the camps, the discipline is not so much. But inside the camp, discipline exists.
It took the killing of a foreign national inside the police headquarters for the war on drugs to grind to an abrupt halt. President Duterte pulled the PNP off anti-drug operations, and now he says he wants to revive the defunct Philippine Constabulary Integrated National Police, or PCINP, which kept the uneasy peace during martial law. And not only that, bring the armed forces, which has no mandate to conduct law enforcement operations, to take the lead in this war on drugs. Joining us is Romeo Acop, now a congressman of Antipolo, but long before that, a police general who served while Panfilo Lacson was PNP chief. Sir, Congressman Acop, thank you very much for joining us now.
Maraming salamat dito sa pagkakataon na ibinigay niyo po sa akin.
Well, Congressman Acop, let's begin with this resurrecting the PCINP. What are the implications of that?
The creation of the Philippine Constabulary would take a long process, and it has to be studied vis-a-vis the provisions of the Constitution. Now, if ever it will be allowed, it will again become a fourth major service command insofar as the Armed Forces of the Philippines is concerned. I do not know whether it will be clothed with police authority, because the old PC clothed with such authority.
Would you be in favor of something like that, sir? Is this the answer to the problem?
I think what should be done first, Pia, is that we give a chance to the PNP to see to it that the ranks are cleansed of police scalawags.
My final question is, we've been talking a lot about General De La Rosa, but of course the PNP is made up of many men and women in uniform. What must they do now?
The men and women of the Philippine National Police must see to it that all their actions must be in support in the direction which the Chief PNP has chosen. Otherwise, they will not succeed in whatever endeavor they would undertake.